All right, well, let's move into some segments today, because I know there's a lot of people out there just dying to hear about some plastic surgery and medical stuff. So first off, did you guys see Martha Stewart on social media this past week?
No.
She was popping a little bit because she has a podcast now.
Nice.
And number one, I like Martha Stewart. I know it might sound odd, but like home decorating and make things look nice. I mean, I can get into that. I'm not the best at it, but I do appreciate it, and I appreciate her and all of
I think she's kind of like a cool little weirdo because she's like best friends with Snoop Dogg.
Right, and plus she was like in prison, man.
For like embezzlement or something.
Like she's a gangster, man. She's awesome. So I really like Martha. So I'm a big fan of hers. So she was popping on in the news and on social media this week because she opened up on her podcast about the rumors of her having plastic surgery. Because every time she posts these photos, I mean, she's 82. She looks amazing.
She does.
I mean, she really does. And
But she also still looks like Martha Stewart.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, it's so right, Sarah. Yes, high five. So anyway, so she opened up on her podcast, just like all great people do. She has a podcast, and she was talking about the rumors of her having plastic surgery. And she had a really good quote, and I had to write it down because I don't remember it exactly. So she said, "I don't think a lot about my age, but I don't want to look my age at all. And that's why I work really hard at it." And she went on to say that she has not had plastic surgery. However, she does have kind of a routine that she does, and she's had some non-surgical treatments.
So like Botox or fillers.
Yeah, and so I thought it'd be fun to kind of go over this. Well, first off, I guess a lot of people have the question of, can you not do surgery and still look as good as her at that age? And I think the answer is yes, absolutely. I believe she hadn't had plastic surgery. I can't see anything that is obvious on her. She looks amazing for her age, but knowing what I know about the non-surgical treatments, I totally believe it, especially if somebody has the means to really kind of do a deep dive into it. When people come to my office and ask about non-surgical stuff, I say, oh yeah, there's some great things out there, but how far down the rabbit hole do you want to go?
Yeah, I feel like with everything beauty cosmetic wise, it's all about maintenance. If you can be consistent with the maintenance of it, then I think you're on the right track. But if you're every now and then, it's not gonna
I mean,
have the same
it can
effect.
help, but are you gonna be looking like Martha Stewart at 82? Oh my gosh. So I was just going to go over some of the things that she opened up about on her podcast, and I was going to kind of, I don't want to say judge them, but just give my input as is this a good thing or a bad thing? Because I really do believe her. I don't think she's had plastic surgery. I mean, she looks fantastic, and based on what she was talking about, 'cause she said she's really into diet, healthy diet, exercise, and skincare, which outstanding. All those things are fantastic if you want to stay looking young, as you age. So the first thing she did mention was Botox.
Yeah.
And she said that she had used Botox in the past, but she didn't like the look that it gave on her forehead where it caused her eyebrows to arch in a V.
Okay.
And so I want to talk about that because this is where I think that she's making a mistake. And believe me, I make no money on Botox. Botox is not a money maker. It's just something that people expect that you have, but the margins on it are so thin because everyone and their grandmother's injecting Botox. So when I say I really believe in Botox, it's not because I'm trying to sell it. I personally believe Botox is one of the lowest hanging fruits that you can do if you want to keep looking young into your older years. Because what are some of the things that make us look older? Well, when we get these frown lines, when we get these forehead lines, and when we get these smile lines, which thankfully at my age, I am kind of genetically blessed. I don't really have a lot of those, although I'm kind of starting to get them, and the girls in my office think I need to start Botox, but that's for another episode. But I do think that you can get Botox and you can have it look natural, and you can get the great effects from it, and you can avoid getting the wrinkles that you normally would be developing during your 30s, 40s, 50s, and onwards. And it's really low risk. And to address her concern about the V-shaped eyebrows. So the thing about Botox is a lot of people know exactly what she's talking about, and some people won't, because it really depends on how the person does the Botox. But that V-shaped pattern of the eyebrows is pretty classic for the kind of standard way that a lot of people do Botox, and I do it the same way. Now, when I do it, I counsel patients if it's their first time that the standard way I do it does give you an arched eyebrow look, which most people like. I mean, a lot of women manicure their eyebrows to have an arch to it.
Yeah.
And so this does it kind of naturally. Of course, if you've already manicured your eyebrows to be arched, and then you take Botox, it can make you look like, like really kind of angry.
Yeah, if you're naturally already have like a...
Yes. Yeah. But there is an easy technique of injecting to not have that. It just involves adjusting how far out you go with the Botox. And so that's one of the biggest things that I talk about with my patients that come in for Botox is, okay, do you want the arched eyebrow look or not? And we just adjust our patterns to accommodate that. And it's super easy to do. And I'm really, I'm kind of surprised that, because she brought her like cosmetic dermatologist on, and so, he's the one I think doing all the work for her. And I'm really surprised that they didn't kind of work that out so that she got the effects of it, but didn't get the look that she didn't like.
Right.
So I do think she's making a mistake avoiding Botox. Once again, I don't get any money really for doing Botox. It's not a big money maker, but I do believe in it. So the other thing that she talked about is she specifically said conservative use of fillers.
Yes.
Which I think is also very good. We've seen so many people on the show in different segments that overdo it with the fillers and they look unnatural. It does not have to be like that. You can absolutely 100% get fillers, look like yourself, not look like you've had work done, but make improvements.
Yeah.
And so I do agree with that. And she was talking specifically about the hyaluronic acid fillers, which is the most common ones. Juvederm's the one that I use, but there's also Restylane and a couple others out there. So I do agree with that. I really love that she said conservative use. I think that is key.
Yeah, that's probably why she still looks like Martha Stewart.
Because she still looks like Martha Stewart, right?
Yeah.
She doesn't look like Madonna, where she looks like...
Aliens.
I wasn't going to say it, but I knew you would, so thanks, Sarah. All right. The other thing that she said she uses, and this is something that I'm starting to get into that historically I haven't been using, is the biostimulatory fillers. Remember when we did the segment on how to augment your buttocks, and we talked about a product called Sculptra?
Yes,
okay.
yeah.
So Sculptra is a biostimulatory filler, which means you inject it in, but it's not the actual product that makes you look better like it is with Juvederm. It causes collagen formation.
Oh.
And this product's been out a long time. I remember one of my attendings was using it when I was in training back in the mid to late 2000s. And I did think that it looked pretty good. And just for whatever reason, when I started my practice, I was like, oh, I'm just gonna do surgery, and didn't really get into more of the med spa stuff until just recently, which I think was a mistake. I think that Sculptra actually is a pretty good product.
Does that last longer since
it does?
Generates?
It lasts a couple years. It says 2 years, but some people will get more length out of it. So it says 2 years, and you might get more out of it, which is kind of like the fillers. They say 18 months, but then remember we did that one segment about those two guys in Australia that were all up in arms because somebody's filler was still in a few years later. I'm like, yeah, so what? So I do like the biostimulatory fillers like Sculptra. It's more for the mid and lower face as opposed to the the cheeks. There's other products that use for that. Although you can inject it in the cheeks, but it's more for like mid to low face. And so, I mean, when you look at her, and now's probably a good time, Travis. I loaded some pictures up of her. Yeah, so looking at like her mid to low face, like she doesn't really have bad nasolabial folds, which is that crease in between the cheek and the mouth area. She doesn't really have, noticeable marionette lines, which is the line that drops straight down from the corner of the lip towards your chin. I mean, she doesn't really have them, and she should at her age. And so I think that the biostimulatory fillers have helped, and some of the other things that she's done. But I mean, wow, she looks amazing. And she looks like Martha Stewart. Like, she doesn't look like a different person. I think I got another set of photos up there. I might as well just toss them up, yeah. And she always posts these pictures of like, being really seductive at 80, which I think is awesome for her. I mean, hey, if you got it, flaunt it. I mean, she's out there like looking great, and I mean, good for her. I think that's awesome. So the other thing that she talked about that she's done are laser treatments, which, I've told you guys, I love those. Have you ever done one?
No, but you have. I remember you have.
Yes. Yeah, and I'm due for it. I need to have it.
I still have not scheduled anything at your office.
You can come to my office and get stuff if you want.
Like, I just need to like.
Yeah, just whenever you want, you can buy. But I do really love. I think she's used both IPL, which is the light treatments, because she talked about treating sunspots, which IPLs are great for that. Yeah. That's just a broadband light. And also some laser treatments, which I think are fantastic. It's the one thing that I use every single year, and I've seen some really nice results on my own skin. My wife does it, all the girls in the office. I do love the lasers. I like the Halo, but there's a bunch out there. But Halo by Satan is a really good one. So I agree with that's a good thing to do. And the last thing that she said that she does is other skin tightening procedures. And she went on to say that she had one called Soft Wave, which is kind of an ultrasound focused skin tightening. There's a lot of them out there. The one that we use is Morpheus 8, which is the one that Kim Kardashian likes.
Yeah, I've heard you talk about it before.
Yeah, I like the Morpheus 8. I'm embarrassed to say I've never had it done on myself, which I need to do it just so I know what the experience feels like, and also I'd love to see the results, but I just get wrapped up in all the things I do, and I just haven't done it yet. Although I keep threatening the girls that I'm gonna.
Sounds very serious.
It's not bad. So it's microneedling and some energy. Some people say it's not bad. Other people say that it, is a little uncomfortable. The nice thing about
And it's on your face?
It's on your face and your neck, yeah. The nice thing about the Morpheus, though, is it doesn't have any downtime. Like when you get a laser, you look like you've been scorched for several days. No, it's not kidding.
My wife got abandoned in the desert.
My wife just did hers, and she's like taking some time off work. I just do mine and go to work because I want people to ask me about it, right? Because they'll be
like, "What's up with your face?
What's up with your face?" Like, "Oh, I did a laser treatment. Come get one." So she does skin tightening procedures, which I think are great. And so listening to her routine, I mean, aside from her skipping Botox, I love it. Yeah. I mean, she's doing the right things if you want to follow a non-surgical approach to looking youthful into your later years. And the earlier you start, the better the results. I mean, I know that sounds probably pitchy, like I'm trying to get you coming out of procedure, but I mean, it's the truth.
Yeah.
If you wait till you're 65 to start these, you're not going to get near as good of effect if you start 30s is kind of when people really start to do these things.
Yes.
So going one step further, so I wanted to try to figure out like a price point for Martha's.
Like how much she spends a year?
Yeah, and this is just, I mean, and maybe not her particularly, because, I mean, who knows how much she's spending as a celebrity going to celebrity docs. I'm talking about if you, the average person, wanted to follow a regimen similar to hers, which I agree is pretty intense.
Yes.
If she's doing as much as I think that she is. So I kind of drew up some prices, so throw that up. So this is what I call the Martha Stewart protocol, which is non-surgical, look young forever.
So fancy.
So I'm gonna go through it. So I put HA fillers be hyaluronic acid fillers. That's a pretty good amount per year to spend, but it would really cover everything you needed, and you might spend a little bit less, but I was just kind of thinking, okay, what would be the max someone needed? So the BioStem fillers is like Sculptra. Fortunately, that one you only have to do every couple years, so I kind of put that as like what the price would be per year if you got it done every 2 years. You might not need it done that much. You could probably shave a few dollars off. So laser and skin tightening, each of those treatments, at least around here where we live, runs around $2,500, and you want to alternate them a lot of times. You do like a laser one year, like a Morpheus the next. Okay. So I just threw that $2,500 out there. And then I know she doesn't use Botox. I mean, she looks amazing, but I do think that Botox has a lot of benefits.
There's a place for it, yeah.
Yeah, so I would put it on there. So this may seem like sticker shock to people, but
if I was a celebrity, $6,000 doesn't look like it's that much.
Well, and you think about like what you spend your money on. And I know for a lot of people, $6,000 is an enormous amount of money, but I mean, we live in Dallas. I mean, there's a lot of people around here.
I think that's how much I spent when I took me and Avery to Disney World.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how you want to spend your money, but I mean, if you did this regimen starting, in your 30s or 40 or whatever, I mean, I think that anyone could look as young as Martha going into their, their older years.
Yeah.
Because these products really do work. I mean, I use them myself, and my family uses them. I mean, so we believe in them. But yeah, I thought it was really interesting that she looks so great, but
she did it right.
But she's never had plastic surgery, one, and two, she looks like Martha Stewart.
Yeah.
I mean, she's doing it right.
Doing it all right.
It's because she's a gangster, man. I love Martha Stewart. I wish she'd come on the show.
That'd be nice. We could make
Travis, do you know Martha?
We could make a floral arrangement.
Yeah, we can make a floral arrangement.
I'll put a bat signal out.
Put the bat signal out?
Yeah, for sure.
I think she's awesome.
I'll slide in her DM. She seems to post
I like her
a lot,
even
so.
more now. I mean, I didn't know all about her regimens and stuff, and so when I was reading them, it's like, oh, that's so smart. That's so smart. I was like, oh, I know, I love her. So, congrats to you, Martha Stewart, for doing the right thing. What do you guys think about Martha Stewart's regimen? Is it too much, too little? I don't know. Leave us a comment. I'd love to hear what you think. So.